Suggested by user Laura Palmer is not dead. What's a horrifying/creepy experience you have lived through? Serious replies only. Comment by user Petronorma. I found my son after he shot himself, and after realizing what had happened I ran to get help. I dropped to the floor halfway to the front door and just screamed, not sure how long. It hit me then. He was alive, barely, but died 4 days later. Years later, I still think of this every day. Comment by user It's Froggy Out. Jesus, suicide is no joke. Please note, this was before my child was born, before my little sister died. I stopped myself because I didn't want my friend's daughter to happen to find me. Every time I see the daughter now, we hug so hard and I know she looked up to me. I was in a very bad spot, but yet I kept thinking how it would hurt the kid more than me. That and thinking how bad it would destroy my mom mentally. My little sister died of overdose in 2014. Mom gave up and drank her life away. I actually yelled at my mom, "Hey, I'm still here out of 3 kids, and you wanted a grandson. We are right here. I am the last serving kid out of 3. First baby before me had a heart defect. Little sister was one of the first in northeastern USA to overdose from fentanyl. Mom hid that from me, by the way." I also knew a woman that pulled into her driveway and her car headlights caught something in the loft of the barn her dad built with his hands. It was her son hanging from a rafter. She had that barn and house torn down within a week. She was never the same. Death is horrible. Comment by user Scythosaurus. When I was maybe 19 or 20 I nearly got run off the road on my way home from work one night. No actual accident, but it shook me up so I pulled off on the shoulder to calm down before continuing to drive. A windowless van pulled up behind me and a man got out and approached my car. He asked if I was okay, and I told him I was fine, just gathering myself after a scare. He offered for me to wait in the van with his wife and kids. He insisted multiple times that I get in his van. Luckily my door was already locked and I had only cracked the window to speak with him. Since he parked his van right behind me and I could see in my rear view there were no visible passengers in his van. By user Fuck These New Plastics. So I wouldn't say this belongs here as a horrifying experience in the end, though it was for a brief moment, but your story reminded me of it. I was living alone on a fairly quiet back street of a larger city. One night I was in bed and heard a woman screaming outside, like really screaming, a raw guttural scream like she was fearing for her life or something. It happened a couple of times and I went to look out the window. I was on the 5th floor of a large apartment building. I looked around to see if other people were showing concern or looking out of their windows, but nothing. It happened again and sounded like it was coming from directly beneath my window. There was a small enclosed car parked there but it was dark. I shone my phone's flashlight down there but couldn't see anything. I thought about calling the police. Then it happened again loudly and I made a split-second decision to rush down there. I ran down there as quick as I could, already partially regretting the decision, and crept around to the rear of the building where the scream was coming from. It happened once more, like a blood-curdling scream. I shouted "Hey!" as loud and intimidating as I could. Nothing happened. I was terrified, my heart was fucking beating out of its chest, adrenaline pumped, hands were shaking. I couldn't see anything. I put the flashlight on my phone and shone it around. Nothing. Then, 2 foxes darted up from behind one of the cars. I watched them scurry off down the street with a wave of relief thinking it can't have been that. I looked around a little more and then went back up to my apartment and got on Google, and yes, it was foxes. I had no idea, but the sound that foxes make when fucking or fighting or whatever they were doing sounds like witches being burned at the stake, and it's a horrifying thing to hear if you don't know what it is in the middle of the night.